Have you ever had a moment where your life is being split into before and after, and you had a single moment or several different moments that really have altered your life and all the decisions that have come after that? Well, we're going to dive into it on this episode of Therapeutic Talks. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Therapeutic Talks. Today we got a very special guest. I'll just go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Add-2. I am from the South Side of Chicago. I'm a rapper, governor for the Chicago chapter of the Grammys, professor, and mentor, and probably some other things.
Okay, yes, sir. A whole bunch of special titles to him. We like to appreciate you for coming on the show this week.
Glad to be here.
And today we're talking about how a single moment has really shifted your life, how it really changed your life.
Mhm.
And to start, I want to ask you, what's the one moment that has really changed your life and has affected you in a different type of way?
One of the biggest moments that shifted how I thought, how I kind of perceived the world was when I had lost a neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Mhm.
when I was younger, like I said, I grew up on the South Side of Chicago. I'm from West Inglewood. And up until this point, me and all my friends, we were like, just typical kids on the block. Like, we loved to play basketball, like
Mhm.
football, and you know what I'm saying? We all thought we was gonna grow up to be, NBA players or something like that. Still getting into music. Like, we had our little rap group and all this stuff like that. And it's about like 10 of us, 10 or 11 of us. And my neighbor, his name was Mickey, and I looked at him like an older brother type of guy. Like,
Okay.
when he was still kind of like short in stature, but everybody on the block respected him.
Mhm.
He like was just like the best dressed, all this stuff like that, right? But he was like again a couple of years older than us, and but we always wanted to be like him because he was so respected in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. And couple of years, like we're like maybe I want to say about like 11, 12, somewhere around there. And he's about like 18, 19. Like right before the incident happened, I remember he got into hustling and stuff like that. And, whatever what happens with that is whatever happens with that. But I remember being outside one day and he was out on the porch and he
Mhm.
had these new Jordans. Like these joints was like it was like I feel like they were like these black and gold ones that I ain't even seen out before. Like everybody else
Mhm.
had like the regular joints that everybody had, but he had some joints that I'd never seen at first. And back
Okay.
then that was kind of unheard of for us. We was like, oh, everybody got like the
Yeah.
11s and stuff like that. But he came out with something that I had never seen. And then I remember I was like, man, dude, how you get that? And he was like, I can't tell you how you get that. But
Mhm.
he's like, matter of fact, I'll get you these if you make me this one promise. He's like, just promise me that I never see you out here with the rest of us because, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't want to see you doing this. And
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll make that promise easy. You know what I'm saying? And didn't think nothing of it. But, like literally like the next day, you know what I'm saying? I come outside again and his mom is out on the porch. No, his grandma was out on the porch. And I remember she was just, she said, hey, I just want to let y'all know, go tell your dad, Mickey got killed. And I just remember just like being stuck because I was like, wait, what do you mean? Because like up until that point, it felt like we kind of, even though we knew some stuff is always going to happen just because where we stayed,
Yeah.
it never really hit that close at first. Like I
Yeah.
kind of always figured that we'll all kind of grow out of it and something would switch up or, everybody gets like this happily ever after, a happily ever after moment. And you, you start to realize like, oh, wait a minute, stuff is about to start shifting. And that's when I think this innocence was gone at that point. Like
Yeah.
that's when it all started. When I was just like, oh wait. And then my friends from there, we went from being just like regular kids to now thinking about like, oh, well, what it might happen to us next.
Yeah.
And then now my friends who were kind of thinking about it, they start thinking about like, all right, well, what's the best way for me to protect myself? And then they start getting involved with it more.
Yeah.
And I'm just the only thing I kept remembering was holding on to this promise, that last little conversation, and I was just like, you know, I just didn't want to go the same route. I was just like, dog, we all gonna end up in the same place. And
Yeah.
sure enough, it was like that. It was almost like a domino effect because literally a few years later, it was like another friend, and then somebody else go to jail. And now I'm visiting them in jail, and that's the only time we having conversations. And I was just like, yo, you could break the cycle, even though you just don't know how,
Yeah.
but you can. And so uh that's what started to shift things. But that moment in particular was one that I really can count on. Is like if there was a before and after for me, I could probably pinpoint it to that.
Wow, that's a powerful story, man. I definitely can understand the idea of, yeah, you see stuff happening around you, but until it happens within your own circle, it's kind of like it really starts to hit home, and like reality really starts setting in for you. That could be anybody.
Hmm.
Um, who would you say you were before this happened?
Man, but before, man, I there was so much joy and fun within like our circle. Like
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, we loved to play sports. We was like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, you
Mhm.
know, I used to just love music, of course. Like we used to try to rap and, had our little rap group, you know what I'm saying? And but I think there was like this space of I'm even watching wrestling and stuff like that. Gee,
Yeah.
like we used to, we watching what was it, Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan and all them cats like that.
Yeah.
It was like early wrestling days. We
Hmm.
used to wait for the ice cream truck to come around. Like
Hmm.
there was a lot of great things that was going on, even in the midst of the neighborhood being what it was. Like it was going through its changes and it had some stuff happening, but it's not like we had bad days every day. It was like,
Yeah.
yo, there was some stuff happening, but most of the times we was having fun. We was on the porch cracking jokes with each other and riding bikes and things like that. Go to the park and hoop against some people we didn't know, and then we'd go
Yeah.
back and play in the alley and stuff like that and hoop it over there. So, uh, but I think I was a really hopeful and joyful kid. Like I think there was a space of uh innocence that I was just like I enjoyed whatever life gave me. Like I
Yeah.
didn't really think too much of it. I kind of just assumed it was the same way with everybody. Like, it is what it is. But after stuff like that, then we slowly started to see like, oh, wait a minute, everybody doesn't have the same experience. And some people don't grow up like this. And this isn't the same in every neighborhood. Then you start to kind of like open up your mind to being like, well, wait, I may not be limited just to this experience either.
Yeah.
Like I can maybe there is something greater. Maybe it's not just you grow up here, you find a job here that's close or whatever, or you get into whatever they allow you to get into. So, but yeah, that's who I was.
Okay. So how did your emotions like really change after the incident? After you got the news? I know you said that you were, it's kind of like you're like stuck. It's like a froze moment almost, you know.
Yeah.
But how did the emotions really change after you got the news, days after it really like sinked in?
After that, it was there was a lot of unresolved anger that started to show up because grief comes up in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes, especially when you're young and you're not really told how to properly
Hmm.
grieve, if there is a proper way of grieving. But like I just didn't know how to let that out in any sort of way. Like, a
Hmm.
lot of times they told us like, yo, you can't cry. You know what I'm saying? Like even though
Yeah.
it's like, yo, I miss this person. And, they didn't allow us to really kind of let ourselves be emotional. And so people was like, yo, if you start showing too much emotion, then you soft, and then it's like, so now we're angry on the inside, sad on the inside, and it's just building up, and it's like I have all these conversations that I want to have with this person that I can't.
Yeah.
Now who do I look up to, and then all my friends, they're also dealing with that too, and so they start getting into some other things where I'm like, all right, in order for us to protect ourselves and to deal with this anger of being like, well, who did it? Now
Yeah.
we're looking at, what I'm saying, now it's neighborhood versus neighborhood, and now this stuff is starting to register with me about how somebody could, hate somebody that they never met,
Yeah.
or putting the identity on an entire neighborhood just because. So, where I'm from, what I'm saying, just being honest with you, it's like it was number GDs over there.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to look at everybody else. Like, if you're not this, then I'm like, okay, well, now I'm putting all this anger on people who I've never met. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So now I'm like, I have something against people who wearing black and red. And that was just something that just starts showing up. You know what I mean? Where it's like now I'm anti all this other stuff. And even Latin Kings, we had new ops for no reason, right? It's
Yeah.
like there's some people I've never dealt with, and all of a sudden now I hate them because of this thing that I'm perceiving to be a reality. It's like, yo, this probably was just an incident between this person and this person, and that's it. But instead, it became a no, it's everybody.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, all right, well, what do we have to do to protect ourselves? And what do I got to do to protect my friends? And so if they also into this, then I'm into this too. And so that's what started to shift my mind state at that moment. Like it was like now I want to make sure that we're here, but in a negative way, I also want to make somebody feel what I'm feeling right now, which is this anger, this hurt. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if y'all take one of mine, then let's figure out how we're gonna take one of y'all's. Like
Yeah.
that start to be the mentality, despite the fact it's like, yo, you're 12.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're 12. Now everybody's going into doing different things that we ain't had no business doing. And but yeah, man, like I think the way I knew everything was really shifting was like then when I started like carrying the gun in my book bag, like
Mhm.
and we passing it around with each other.
Yeah.
Like it's like now it's the block's gun. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it stays with me for a couple of days. Then my other friends say he want to hold it, so then we give it to him, and now we're just flashing it for no reason though.
Yeah.
Like that's the other parts. Like it's not even like we're going and using it. We just holding it just to hold it.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started realizing I was like, all right, we really getting off track from where I thought we were supposed to go. Like I thought we were supposed to just be in the NBA and we supposed to,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, be having fun and we supposed to like our subject matter start changing, the things we talking about changing and who we, you know, what we're doing, what we consider fun starts changing. And so now all we want to do is just kick it on the porch.
Yeah.
And before it used to be like, yo, let's go play football. Let's go, you know what I'm saying? Make up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Make up a
Mhm.
game or whatever it might have been. But now, yeah, it just shifted.
Okay. So how do you break from that? I know that seems like a lot, especially at the age of 12,
Hmm.
being that young and having to deal with so much mentally. It takes, I can only imagine, it takes a mental toll on you that, a lot of people wouldn't be able to understand. So how do you break free from that cycle?
Something that shifted for me was, well, first, when all my friends kept getting locked up, not for nothing, it was like, I, you know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
you gonna be right here with them.
Yeah.
And they used to tell me when I come see them, they'd be like, dog, man, I don't want to see you over here no more. Like, I don't like to be even seen like this. Like I would look at them and they look so sad. And we still like teenagers, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we 15, 16, and you know what I'm saying? The ones who are now 18, now they're considered like adults, and so they in, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not just going to like juvie or anything like that. Now it's like they're actually in just like the regular joint, and so um, the thing that started to change for me though was uh, one of my teachers, this dude, Mr. Dixon. I'll never forget him, man. Like he seen that I got into music
Hmm.
and I was just like battling people and rapping and trying to just do it for attention. And he was just like, you could actually be something with this. And I was just like, man, not really. And it's like I thought rap was corny and stuff like that. I like to
Hmm.
rap, but I didn't like. I looked at rappers and I was like, nah, what do they
Yeah.
actually do? You know what I'm saying? And then he
Hmm.
was like, but I'm telling you, like you have a real talent with this. You should try to do something with it. And then he started letting me. He introduced me to the like different open mics in the scene.
Okay.
And he was just like, yo, just go over here. Go see what this is like. And I would just go in there and I'd be like, listen to other people like showcase their talent. And I was really into how skillful people were.
Hmm.
And I was like, dang, they just made the whole crowd go crazy with this verse. Or they'll say something that was like a really dope metaphor, a dope punchline or something like that. And I was like, yo, that's crazy. How did you think of that? And I became intrigued with that process. And I'm one of them people where it's like, if I get tunnel vision on one thing. If I get fixated on this one thing, I'm like, "Yeah, I got to figure it out." And that was the thing I wanted to figure out. I was like, all right, how did they do that? How did they get so good on stage that they could captivate all these people? And, it was one that was right over in the hood that I was able to go to that wasn't too far with, what I'm saying? Like my mom's wouldn't be tripping too much that I was
Hmm.
getting in later. But uh man, it was on 63rd in Aberdeen. And it was this place called the House of Culture. And this dude who was over there, his name was Cassius D. And this guy was like old school hip hop dude. He was like, as soon as I walked in the door, he was like, "Hey, young man, sit down. I gotta teach you all this stuff." Like he was one of them dudes, like you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, like the keeper of the keys type mog,
Hmm.
right? And he would and he actually would sit me down and he would have these poster boards and show me all of this stuff about hip hop and life. And he'd make me like sweep up the whole place and then start getting disciplined in that way. You know what I'm saying? Where I was
Mhm.
like, I had to take care of something and had to be responsible for something. And he had like dudes from the neighborhood there too who respected him. So it was like, dang, all right, you got respect from the guys, you know what I'm saying, who out here. And at the same time, you doing this and they like what you do. And so that introduced me to another side of it where it was like, oh, you can be something else. And that was what introduced me to like trying to mentor, and like I like the idea of somebody who was teaching somebody and guiding somebody, and they would instill all that stuff about community to me.
Yeah.
And that's what I needed. I was like, I needed some sense of pride. I needed some sense of direction, and I needed somebody to tell it to me from a different perspective, who I seen had something that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, y'all have this respect, and I want that. You know,
Okay.
I want to feel complete in some way, and I felt like I wasn't getting it in the other spaces. And even though I was following my friends still at the time, but it was like that other thing was slowly pulling me away from
Yeah.
that space.
Okay. So you're talking about, going away from what you were initially were in after the big moment that's happened to you. Who do you feel like you would have been if none of this ever happened?
I firmly believe that I would not even be here. Like I don't even know if there's like a who I would be, because I don't think who I would have been wouldn't have made it that far, because
Wow.
uh, I I had a really bad temper, and I got this little Napoleon complex too.
Mhm.
So it's like I'm always talking crazy.
Yeah.
It probably would have been a check I couldn't cash for real. But I know for a fact that's just because that's how I used to function. It
Okay.
was, I there was never a fight that I wasn't in, that my friends wasn't in, that never
Mhm.
was a bad idea. Like all that stuff was just leading me to a wrong space. And there's still like moments of that where I see it, like where I'm having these impulsive decisions, and you almost want to just black out and do whatever and don't really
Mhm.
care about the consequences.
Yeah.
But uh now I'm able to process it a little bit differently. Like I'm a lot more patient. I kind of like think about like, okay, if I do this, what happens? What
Yeah.
are the five outcomes of what might be, what's likely? And so now I'm like, fast forward to the end. What's gonna get you the results of what you want? And then also it makes me think about like, how do you protect the most valuable thing that you have, which is your time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could waste money, I can waste the gas in my car, I could do all the other stuff, but the only thing I can't get back is my time, right? So I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm very conscious about that now. I'm like, yo, I can't just give this to people.
Yeah.
And even now with some of my mentees, you know what I'm saying? I got one mentee right now who got like an attempted murder case that he's trying to beat. And it's
Wow.
just like, and it's something that we should talk about. We used to be like, dog, you know, you can't let people take you away from this life. Like it's already short as is, right?
Yeah.
Like this thing flies past, but you can't let people manipulate you to now you have no control over your life or what you do every day. So but I know if these other things didn't happen, one, I wouldn't think about how important it is to be present, because I've seen these young men in these spaces, because that's what I was. I can register with that feeling of pain and being like lost in this world and figuring like, yo, I want to do something better, but I don't know what's out here better. And I also have these emotions that I'm dealing with. I also want to be respected. I also want to have financial stability, and but I don't know how else I'm supposed to get it,
Yeah.
because of the tools that I've been born with, or the neighborhood that I've been in. Like the opportunities ain't there. So I get why it's so important for like these type of people to be present in somebody's life to help steer them in some way.
Mhm.
So, um, but yeah, I firmly believe that had I not ran into Mr. Dixon and not ran into the House of Culture, I would have easily been just like probably by 25. By 25, I probably would have been up out of here.
Wow. Man. And being around a certain type of culture, we see so many people that's 25, 23, even 17, 16. They pass away because their environment's bad and they feel like they don't really got no out besides, jumping in.
Hmm.
And that just seems like something that, you know about. It just obviously based off everything you shared with us today, it just definitely feels like something that you're giving information to the people at home about. You don't have to be stuck in this situation. You see all
Hmm.
these people, you see your friends fall into the same trap, but you've chosen to break out of that and create a new path for your mentees and everyone along the way. How do you keep a level head doing all that? Because that's a lot on your shoulders.
I'm still learning how to uh manage all that because there's a it's a lot. Like it's a lot of
Yeah.
emotion when you have to one be conscious of somebody else. You emotionally are attached to these people. You want them to have positive outcomes. And a lot of times like you're the most dependable person for a lot of people. Like
Yeah.
my phone rings all the time and it's always somebody who needs something from me in some form of fashion. Sometimes it's an ear, sometimes it's like, hey, I'm in a financial jam, or some things it might be like I need guidance, I need help with this song, whatever it might be. There's all these levels of need. And uh you also feel the pressure of being like, I don't want to let anybody down, because sometimes if you don't answer the phone that one day,
Yeah.
somebody could be really upset. They're like, dog, I needed you then. And and like I said, you can get it right 9 times, but that 10th is like
Yeah.
it's really important to somebody. So uh there's a lot of pressure, and I don't fully know if I've figured it out. Sometimes I'm just winging it, to be honest with you. It's just like
Hmm.
day to day. Some days I feel like I did a great job. Other days I'm like, nah,
Yeah.
I could have showed up a little bit better. So, uh, but I just think like every day is a different time to get it right. So just making adjustments, but also understand that you're human.
Okay.
Right?
And like I said before, that's a lot, and just hearing you talk about it, it's like it's a lot on your plate. Is it mentally draining for you on a day-to-day basis? 'Cause I can only imagine all that on you at once.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. It absolutely is. Like uh I don't sleep as much
Mhm.
as I used to. And this was even before I had had my son. Like I didn't really sleep beforehand, just because it's like there's my mind is constantly running.
Yeah.
And there's like, and also there's this fear, you know what I'm saying, of like losing everything that I've built, right? Like it's like, man, I done got myself all the way up here, and I'm scared of going back. And so it's like, all right, so I gotta stay at it. And that keeps me up too. But it's just so much pressure, bro. And I don't know how to fully, like, does it just get to a point where you be like, all right, I've got everything is stable and it's enough and I could coast, or if it's just like, new levels, new devils,
Yeah.
right? Where it's just like every step, every place that you go to, there's going to be something else that comes with it, and there's going to be a level of stress. And uh, no matter what you do, like you just got to find the joy to balance it out in it. So like, but the stress is going to be there, pressure is going to be there. It just may not be the same version of it. So, but I don't know. My hope is that I can find something better so that I can,
Yeah.
you know, live live a little differently.
Okay. Okay. So before we get ready to wrap up and everything, I want you to tell the people at home what they can do to really get past any type of situation that's similar to this. And when they have a big moment in their life, how do you push forward? Because a lot of people may just be like, I'm done. And so
Mhm.
much to, overcome. How would you guys, somebody, what type of advice would you give to the people at home?
One, find some people who you can talk to like in a very complete, honest way. Like some people who uh they're not gonna judge you, but you can be able to vent about everything that you feel in the moment.
Mhm.
Especially like I'm really trying to push this to a lot of our young men, because we internalize a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of this world, doesn't give you spaces for you to uh be who you are, like, so like, and some people try to use that stuff against you later on. So but for them to find a space to be able to talk about these things, and
Mhm.
then also take a moment, man. Like sometimes I used to be like, man, I need 3 days to see how I really feel. Like in the moment I might be like, yo, I really want to, I don't even know what I was about to say, but we'll do something to somebody, right? I was like, all right, let me go. The first day, yes, I feel that way. Let me wake up the next day. Do I still feel like that?
Mhm.
All right. Then I go through another third day. By the third day, do I still feel like I'm just as fired up about it, or I'm kind of moved on? And most of the time, I've moved on.
Yeah.
And so give yourself time to make that decision, and then also to remove any of these people or places that are triggering for you, man. Like a lot of times I didn't know I felt differently until I moved out of the places that I was in. Like I thought I believed what I believed because it was, you know, in me. And instead it was like, nah, it was just you was living in this neighborhood and I was around you. And, you know, once I was able to I went to college. That was another thing. I went to college and that was like the first time I done seen the stars for real, for real. And it was quiet. And I almost got like, you know, survivor's guilt or whatever it was. I got anxiety. I was ready to ruin it. I was like,
Yeah.
dog, this is too good. Nah, I got to get up out of here. But instead, it was like just stayed and that quietness, that peace. I got used to it, and I was like, dog, I don't want to lose this either. Like so, being introduced to a different environment where it's calm and you don't have to interact with a lot of the stress and the drama and the, you know, the ills of the world. Like when you're able to be at a place where you're peaceful, then you know, like enjoy that too. So uh, but if you're going through something, one, I always recommend just finding somebody who can really be with you through that process, not just be like, man, dang, that's crazy. Like not just pass you along, not just kind of passively listen, but after they listen to you, be like, all right, so what are we gonna do next?
Yeah.
Like how can I help you? And if they offer help, you know, receive it too. Like they say, hey bro, I'm gonna call you up every day. Don't tell them, nah, don't do that. Like, no, all right, for sure. Check in.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna get up, we're gonna go walk. All right, for sure. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna hoop. All right, for sure, let's do it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like, yeah, try to find people who want to hold you accountable.
Definitely. Okay. Once again, I want to thank you for being on the show. Matter of fact, do you want to tell the people at home about the program?
Oh man, yeah, definitely you can support this program. We have two programs, honestly, like Guitars Over Guns. It's a music mentoring program for middle school, high school, and you know, community spaces. And so we hire musicians to be the mentors for the kids in these spaces. And then we have a studio called Haven Studio, which is on 46 and King Drive. And it's a free studio for teens and young adults to come in, make the music that they want to make.
Mhm.
And man, they just they're incredible, man. Once you give people the resources and the tools that they need to do the things that they want to do, and so I've just been watching them flourish, and we just support them as much as we can to give them some like surreal opportunities, man. You know, President Obama came into the studio to film his CBS piece with them,
That's dope.
and listen to them cipher and everything like that, and I was just like, this is crazy, just
Wow.
the amount of things that's happened. Alicia Keys had took them out to dinner, and you know, had them at her concert, and there's been a lot of stuff like that where we just been uh, seeing the artists pour back into the community and you know help the youth see that there's other ways to express themselves. And so you know you don't have to go out and bring harm to the world. Like you can actually bring joy to the world, and
Yeah.
you could be respected for it too. So yeah, that's what we do.
That's dope, man. All the information for his programs will be in the link of this video. We appreciate Add-2 for coming on the show.
Man.
And we're going to see y'all next week on Therapeutic Talks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I can't